Holiday season is officially upon us. Or for us pet sitters, I guess I should say, chaos season is here. The holidays are the busiest time of the year for a lot of us pet sitters and dog walkers. And that does not come without a little bit of extra stress and turmoil. This is time that we are out in the field instead of being at home enjoying time with our own friends and family. So that is exactly why we should be compensated more than our usual rates. That's exactly what we're going to talk about in today's video. Before I get into why to charge holiday fees and how much to charge and how to communicate all this to your clients and all of that good stuff, I do just want to quickly say that I was just looking at my YouTube analytics and only 30% of you are subscribed. And if I could get that number to increase a little bit, it would really help me and the channel out a lot. And it is completely free for you to subscribe. All you have to do is hit that red button and turn on the bell notifications so that you'll be notified when I post my weekly videos here on the Doug the Dog Guy YouTube channel. Now that you've subscribed, I want to start this conversation by saying there's not really a hard or fast rule for any of this. I'm going to tell you how I do it, and I'm going to talk about how most professional pet sitting and dog walking businesses do it. But if what I say in this video doesn't jive with you, just take this knowledge and make your own policies, with this in mind. I'll also say that if you go back through my old videos here on the channel, you'll see that I posted a video about holiday fees 4 years ago, all the way back in September of 2021. And I said in that video that I had just started to charge holiday fees, and I was still very uncomfortable with the whole concept. And I was unsure of which holidays to charge for. I can tell you that my mindset has changed a lot over the last 4 years. I am now very confident in charging for every federal holiday and even some more dates on top of that we'll talk about here in a few minutes. I say all that just so that you know that it is okay to change your mind. We are all learning and evolving just one day at a time as business owners. So my mind has changed on this over the years, and it's okay if you change your mind as well. I did not charge any holiday fees the first few years of my business, but when the pandemic hit, I started to really think about what my priorities were and start to put more thought into the value of my own time. And I realized that my time on holidays is worth more than my time on a normal day. And the same is also true for all of my team members. I started my pet sitting and dog walking business, Bad to the Bone Pet Care, in Jacksonville, Florida, when I was 18 years old. When I was 18, 19, 20 years old, I had no problem at all with skipping Christmas or skipping Thanksgiving to go and work instead. But as I've grown older, now that I'm in my 30s, I really think about how limited our time is with our friends and our family. We only have so many Christmases with our parents and our grandparents. But we can always get more clients, and we can always drum up more revenue and make more money. But those holidays and those special occasions, they come and go, and you can't get them back. I've also realized over the years that you have to be proactive about avoiding burnout and compassion fatigue. If you are skipping your holidays and choosing to work instead, and you're getting undercompensated on top of that, it's going to be a recipe for burnout. And it's going to be very easy for feelings of regret and feelings of resentment and other negative emotions like that to creep in. And we have to be proactive about stopping those things from entering our mind and entering our lives from the get-go. I say all that just so you can see that charging holiday fees is not all about nickel and diming the clients. It's not all about just drumming up a new source of revenue and trying to make more money. It's really about protecting yourself and protecting your team members. Outside of that emotional side of things, you also just have the basic laws of supply and demand at play here. You know, holidays are the busiest time of the year for pet sitters, and the law of supply and demand says that high demand dictates for higher prices. When there's lower demand, there's lower prices. So we're really just following the basic laws of economics here. Clients know this and expect this as well. You know, they know that they are going to have to pay more for their flight to go home and see their family at Christmas. They know that they are going to have to pay more for their hotel room if they travel on Thanksgiving. You know, they know and expect things to cost more on major holidays. And that logic applies to us as pet sitters and dog walkers as well. And if none of those reasons persuade you to charge a holiday fee, I think you should at least do it for your team members, because they are used to being paid time and a half, if not double time, for working holidays at any other job that they've ever had. And they're going to expect the same from you and your business. And if you're not charging the clients for that, that money's going to have to come out of your own personal pocket, which is not a good situation to be in. So even if you are like how I was when I was 18, 19 years old starting my business and not valuing my own time, as the leader of your team, you have to at least value their time. So now that I've talked about why I think we should all be charging holiday fees, let's talk about how to actually go about these fees. And I think we need to start here by talking about which holidays we are going to charge for. And like I said, the first few years of my business, I did not charge for any holidays. And then coming out of COVID, I started charging for Thanksgiving and Christmas. And then I started just slowly adding more and more holidays. And that's when I just said, okay, we are going to charge for every federal holiday. And we did that for a couple of years. And then last year, we actually expanded that to include not just all federal holidays, but the entire week of Thanksgiving and the entire week of Christmas, leading into New Year's. I can tell you that I and my team were all very happy with that last year, and that is how we are doing it this year, and that is my plan moving forward. Now, even if you're not willing or ready to charge, for all of that, I would say to at least start with the major holidays, if not all of the federal holidays. And that is how most of the professional pet sitting and dog walking businesses that I follow do it. They charge for at least all of the federal holidays, if not some additional days around those federal holidays, like how I'm doing it with the week of Thanksgiving and the week of Christmas. Once you decide which holidays you're going to charge for, you then have to think about how you are going to charge for these holidays. I know like a lot of boarding facilities charge per day, but it makes a lot more sense for us as pet sitters to charge per visit instead of per day, because we are coming and going from the client's home so many times throughout the day. And if you're working together as a team with employees, it may be multiple team members coming and going from the same client each day. So I charge per visit, and that is how most professional pet sitting and dog walking businesses do it. Now, as far as how much to charge goes, I just told you that your team members will expect to be paid time and a half or double time. So that's how I charge our clients. I charge our clients 1.5 times our base service rate for all of these federal holidays and the week of Thanksgiving and the week of Christmas, for all services across the board, no matter what. So even if they're in town and it's just a midday dog walk, if it's within those date ranges, they are paying 1.5 times our base service rate. Now, I know a lot of businesses that quote it that way by saying 2x or 1.5x. I have a lot of other businesses that say it in a flat fee amount. So it's $15 extra per visit or $5 extra per visit. However much you decide to charge, I would just recommend that you are very clear and consistent about your messaging. Stick to either your $5 per visit or your 1.5x, whatever route you decide to go. Just be consistent and clear and transparent about it. Now, I just said 1.5x is what your team members will expect. And I do think that even if you don't have team members, you should treat yourself as if you were an employee of your business. Ask yourself, could I or would I ask an employee to do this? And if the answer is no, then you probably shouldn't be asking yourself to do it either. That's kind of my general mindset around any business decision, even outside of talking about holiday fees. But that being said, if you are a solo pet sitter without employees to worry about, you could charge a little bit less just to give yourself a kind of a competitive edge against the other businesses in your area that might have a team. I know a lot of businesses in my own service area that charge like $5 or $10 per visit. It all comes down to how much it's worth to you. I think you should sit down and ask yourself, do a little bit of soul searching and ask yourself, how much is it worth for me to miss this holiday with my friends and family and go visit this dog or visit this cat instead? And just go with that. For some of us, that's going to be an extra $5 on top of our service, our base service rate. For some of us, that's going to be 10 times our base rate. Some of us would rather just shut down on the holidays instead of having to work and worry about holiday fees at all. There is not really a right or wrong answer as long as you are comfortable with whatever it is that you're going to move forward with here. So now that we've talked about all that, let's talk about how to communicate these fees to your clients. And like I said just a second ago, I really recommend being as open and honest and transparent about all of your fees as possible. So if you go to my website, you will see all of my prices listed very plain and clearly and openly on our services page. And then if you click over to our FAQ page, you will see a description of exactly how we charge for holidays. And I put all this openly on my website so that potential clients can read this and understand exactly how we operate and what they are getting into before they call us or sign up for our services. And then when they do sign up for our services, if they are signing up for holiday pet sitting, on that very first initial phone call, we make a point of bringing up these holiday fees and really ensuring that they understand these fees before we move forward with creating their time to pet account and going over to meet them and all of that kind of stuff. And then even after that, we require them to digitally agree to our terms of service, our contract, before we will schedule their meet and greet. Go watch my video all about meet and greets if you haven't seen that. But I have them sign this contract before we will schedule that meet and greet. And our holiday fees are again listed very clearly in black and white in that terms of service. So they see them on the website before they contact us. Then we discuss them on that initial phone call. Then they see them in the terms of service that they sign. Then we go over to meet them in the meet and greet, and we have a new client welcome packet. And in the back of that packet is our terms of service printed out. And we make a point of going through that terms of service line item by line item. And we talk about these fees in the meet and greet. And then after that, the fees are then listed as a separate line item on their invoice. So there is no misconstruing our fees. It is very clear and plain and open and transparent, and it's all in black and white. And they are seeing these things, 10 times before they pay for the service. And that is really what I would recommend that you do as well. We do not want any confusion amongst our clients about how much they're going to be paying and all of that kind of stuff. We do not want to mess with anybody's money. So transparency is the key to anything like this. I know someone watching is going to have the question of what to do if someone has pushback on your holiday fees. And I'll just say here that, knock on wood, we have not received any negative pushback about our holiday fees since we rolled them out. Even last year, when we extended it from the federal holidays to the full week of Thanksgiving and Christmas, we still didn't get any complaints. I did notice, it just in all honesty, that our bookings did decrease a little bit, but not that much, and we still hit all of our revenue goals thanks to those fees. Even though we had less clients on the schedule, we still hit our goals. So take that for what you will. I will say that if a client ever did push back on these fees, I would stay firm, and I would recommend that you stay firm. I would just say, this is what my time is worth on this day. This is what our team's time is worth on this day. If you're not ready, willing, and able to pay that amount, then we are not the right service provider for you. Take it or leave it is kind of my mentality at this point on things like this. I know that's kind of easier for me to say now that I've been in business 11 years. I know if you're newer in business, that may be kind of a hard pill to swallow, but I can pretty much ensure that you will get to this mindset sooner or later. So you may as well go ahead and start charging the fees now. If you're wondering how we keep track of all of this and make sure that the fees are being applied to the right invoices and that nothing's being missed and all of that kind of stuff, that's where Time to Pet comes in. I have used Time to Pet for all of our scheduling, our invoicing, our updates that we send to clients, our profiles for clients' information, everything. We use it for literally everything for years now. I could not operate my business without Time to Pet. And if you are not already using Time to Pet for your business, you can save 50% off of your first 4 months if you sign up on my special page, which is timetopet.com/Doug. Again, that is 50% off of your first 4 months if you sign up at timetopet.com/Doug. I really hope this video has been helpful, and I'm sending you all of my positivity as we go into this busy holiday season. You got this, you can do it. And remember that this is your business, so you can charge as much or as little as you want to. You can take the holidays off if you want to. It is up to you. And if you're not going to build the business of your dreams and do it the way that you want to do it, then you may as well go work for someone else. So take advantage of the opportunity in your hands. So with that, my name's Doug the Dog Guy, and I am reminding you to stay positive.